Well, it's been a while. I've been up to a number of different things. First one was I found an old test track I made up which had fallen into disrepair, and started putting that back together to test out how you can use an Arduino to provide power. So started by gluing some track back onto it, and then checking that was there, checking that the sensors were in the right places, and then after that it was just a matter of weighting everything down and waiting for the glue to dry. I think it's safe to say it's been successful. Moving on, I decided that I was going to try and mount a little screen on here, so we've put this in and then wired up the spaghetti and the Arduino controller, programmed it, and so far so good. Here's a little display, range of controls and so on. So as you can see, it works fairly well. You can see the LEDs going on as the tank engine passes the sensors, but it wasn't doing anything. I couldn't work out why, and then I suddenly realised that the sensors were pointing towards a window in full daylight, so they were registering that there was something happening the whole time. So there's so much for that. So my little freight yard I made up to take to a church fete, and then plugged it onto the main layout sometime later. It's Thursday, 20th of March, nearly spring equinox, and here underneath, this is the top level station, which may all be going, but underneath it is the two main lines that run all the way from one station, the length of the loft, through to the other end, and they're all glued down. But I've decided that I would like a point switch or turnout about here, with a siding down here to store freight trains coming from the freight yard that's here. So that's today's project. All these tracks are glued down, so they're going to have to be unglued, put the point in, and then glued back down again, preferably straight. We'll see what happens. Well, that was fairly painless. Here we are, about 3 minutes later. Whole length of track has been lifted, and we're just now getting rid of the dead skin copy decks. Copy decks seems to be the answer to this. It hasn't even damaged the cardboard. Brilliant. Right, so a short time later, track's down, weights in place to hold it down. I decided to go for an experiment. I'm only gluing the joins and checking the track is straight with a straight edge, and we'll see where that leads. I've been given courage by the several YouTubers I follow who have decided to rip their whole layout apart and start again. So this was the area that I first set up in about 2010, and then it expanded greatly when COVID came around and we suddenly had a lot more time. It's been fun, but it's never really worked, so now it's time to do something else. A bit more distraction going on here. We're working towards removing all of this and relaying it as that. Such fun. It's going to mean changing all the control gear over, of course, and ripping things apart, putting them back together. So it's going to be interesting, but I think it'll be a while before I manage to get anything running again. But we shall see. This is the sort of spaghetti that I ended up with on the back of some of the control panels. So, looking at the new station area then, already had a sneak preview of the master plan, and here it is. It probably end up looking nothing like that, but that was what the Rail Modeler Pro came up with. The track's going to come down there, going into an arrangement of points here to split it into 4 lanes Coming round into the new station area. Here we go then, we've got the track bed in, ready, points roughly placed. You know how when you buy lots of track second hand, you use all the straights up fairly quickly and then you have a big pile of curves left? Well, now's your chance. And later it's taking shape. Some of the track work's in. Some of the track has been donated by my good friend Alan in the loft at Buckland Junction. So thank you, Alan. It comes to the advantage of being pre-weathered. You know, it's got most realistic rust painting on it, and we've now cleaned the top surfaces off, so we'll see what happens. Right, so none of this is glued down yet. I'm not quite sure about the geometry coming round here. Leave Morph holding the fort. But we've now got, the idea is that you've got the far line is going to be platform 1, and then that's going to disappear off around the corner, and you probably can't quite see, but there's a point at the end, so it will go left at the point and then it will start going up a gradient until eventually it ends up at the top level of the shelf. The other two lines, platform 2, platform 3, can be one each way, and they're going to zoom off around the corner and then can be turned round and or carry on the loop. And then there'll be a fourth line coming through underneath here somewhere, which will have a siding off to go into the goods yard or engine sheds or something. Okay, so that's where we got to so far. So waiting for the glue to dry, and more at some point. Bye for now. Gable nest is an area of the roof really where the tracks go in, go around and they'll turn around loop if they want to, or carry on and then go back out again. So all that's coming out, and I've started putting down a big piece of cardboard at the bottom as a base, and we'll develop it from there. Meanwhile, it's back to East Ham, and I put a bit of cardboard right along the back as a sort of holding point, ready for a back scene of some sort, and then lo and behold, one appeared. It's made up of photos I've taken around the local area, just pasted onto a thing with a bit of paint, so I think it'd be alright. I occasionally watch this webcam on the West Somerset Railway. It gets some interesting screen grabs from time to time. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you again.